The president's tweets this morning about Dr. Ford raised the question, if the assault really happened, why didn't she call the police? Twitter exploded with tens of thousands of answers from sexual assault survivors using the hashtag #WhyIDidn'tReport. Like this one. I was 14. I wasn't where I was supposed to be, and I was scared of getting in trouble because I got away in the end and didn't think attempted rape counted. Because I didn't want to admit what happened, even to myself. Or this one. Because of the hope that if I didn't talk about it, it would go away. It didn't. The statistics are daunting. According to one victim advocacy group, an American is sexually assaulted every 98 seconds. Statistics also suggest sexual assault is one of the most underreported crimes. And when it comes to kids, the numbers are truly shocking. 88% of the time, no report is made to authorities. In the early 1980s, when Dr. Ford claimed she was sexually assaulted by Judge Kavanaugh, which he strongly denies, Linda Fairstein was the chief sex crimes prosecutor in New York City. You've read President Trump's tweets today. What do you think he doesn't understand?
It's obvious the president doesn't understand the nature of sexual assault and its impact on victims and survivors, especially teenage girls. Acquaintance cases between people who know each other are now tremendously underreported. Then in the 1980s, it was extremely rare.
Now, this case from the past raising serious questions for the future. Cynthia McFadden, NBC News, New York.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.